Hey everybody, welcome to episode 121 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. And jingle? Do need to check. I'm pretty sure it's 121. I'm sure it'll be fine. Welcome back. I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Blood Tithe Ben. BT, how you doing?
Hello, long time no see.
Yeah,
Sorry I've been away.
You had a week off, or a podcast off.
Yeah.
Is it just one podcast?
Two, didn't I?
Two? Good lord.
Yeah.
Anyway, you had
one I missed for a wedding thing, and then maybe it was just that one. It's just because we do it fortnightly. Yeah.
I was gonna say one you've missed for a very good reason, which
Yeah.
I was meaning the topic of today, but the wedding one is, I guess, technically a better excuse. Anyway,
I don't know. I don't know the venue.
1-1, and today is a 1-2-1. It's just you and me. Trips is on Hollybobs, I think in Devon, going to what awfully sounded like haunted museums and stuff, which
A theme park with at least 4 dungeons.
Yes, the theme park was dubious. And Milton is also off and about at the moment, so it's just BT and me and Ben. This is a very BT focused show. What's it about?
Yeah, it's going to be talking about the 3-day tournament at Warhammer World, which was Sevens, 11s, and Dungeon Bowl, which I had the pleasure of going to, and meeting everyone there who went. It was awesome.
Ah, man, I'm very excited to hear about this. We'll touch on a couple of bits of news first, as we always do, but the real meat here is going to be about Ben and everybody he met there. Okay, so Blood Bowl news. We've had Gutter Bowl released, but otherwise there's been no Games Workshop Blood Bowl news. I personally am well excited about Legions Imperialis, but even though they keep dropping articles, there's not really any news except there's small tanks, which was where I got on board in the first place. So
Yeah.
so I'm waiting for more news on that one. But in third-party Blood Bowl world, it's coming towards the end of the month, which means the various Patreons out there are kind of dripping out some pictures of what they've been working on. So it's always worth checking in and seeing what's coming out next month. And first of all, we're going to have a look at a couple of bits from our buddy, Brute Fun, who has just gone ham and has started brewing up a vampire team, which is heavily rumoured to be the next team for Blood Bowl and has been heavily rumoured for 9 months. A little bit more than that, I think. I think maybe they were rumoured to be coming before Amazons were actually announced. But Bruty has got a vampire in bat form, who is literally holding the ripped head of another player and dripping the blood into the vampire bat gullet. Which, I
mean, Blood Bowl's always been a little bit on the tamer side in terms of violence. And this is stretching it. You won't see this on a GW.
This just is so B movie. This looks like there was a really bad show in the 2000s called Primeval. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Oh, I loved Primeval with Hannah Spirit. From S7.
It was just bad CGI monsters doing bad CGI monster things. This looks like good CGI monster doing the actions that you would see in a Doctor Who or an X-Files skit. And I think it's awesome because it's so egregious. However, Brute Fun is backing it up with some very cool vampire sculpts. So this is one of the vampires. I've only got one picture for him. There is a picture of a second vampire that is very cool, but I don't know if Brute Fun shared that on Patreon yet, but I love it. It's the Tom Brady pose. But this vampire, this team is going to be wicked.
This is so nice. I'm so excited for this. I really hope they actually land. Because I really want to print and play this team.
Oh, we can print and pay the team anyway. Because I think when we come to the end of the year and hopefully we'll be able to hit up another Bonehead Championship or something, then we want vampires to be in the team, because especially with a team like this. So it is just a Blood Bowl player, but with fine fluted filigree that befits vampires. If you painted this armor red and put him on a horse, it would look bang on for an overpriced Warhammer Fantasy unit.
Oh yes, those Blood Knights.
The Blood Knights.
Yeah.
There was a big period of like where people would just buy High Elf Silver Helms, or no, Dragon Princes of Calador,
really?
and just use them as Blood Knights because they were half the price. But anyway, the team is looking awesome. We've still got there's still a bit more to come out, but when we've got basically another week before that's going to drop on Bruty's Patreon. So I'm super excited for that. The second pose I don't want to show just yet. He'll probably show in the next couple of days anyway. So by the time the podcast comes out, if you're following Brute Fun, you've probably seen it. It's my favorite. I cannot wait to paint it because it's just it's a flipping vampire quarterback, and it's perfect. It's so Blood Bowl. Now we've got our friends at Punga up next, who are doing another Nurgle team. So they dropped the circus team, which was it was well executed. It was weird, but it was well executed, which I think is fair of Punga. But this looks to be a more traditional Nurgle team. You've got it's called Swarm of Decay. We've got the Rot Spawn here, who, I mean, I don't really quite...
Phobia warning, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This guy looks like a maggot with arms and a weird face.
Has he got the clicker head from Last of Us?
That's what I'm thinking. It does look like a...
sort of cauliflower lettuce head.
Yeah.
Mushroom head, yeah.
And you got a great little Nurgling beetle.
Yeah.
With it. Now, they've only showed that player off and this Pestigore. Again, I love that they're being ridden around by little Nurglings. I don't understand, but both the players we've seen have got little Nurglings with little reins just sort of leading the players around.
I kind of hope the whole team doesn't have that.
Yeah. A couple, you make sense. You're like, oh, yeah, that's funny. You get like the kind of Total Recall vibe of a little dude leading the big dude around. But this is really interesting. There's a lot of Tyranid style aesthetic to this model.
Yeah, they're very insectoid.
Yes.
Like even the beast before had that kind of like insecty feel, like with that, honeycomb. Well, not a honeycomb, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called.
I always called it chitin, like chitinous hide, but I believe it's actually chitin, isn't it?
Like chitin, yeah.
Stupid. It's like the Imperial Guard tank, the Chimera. Like literally for the first 20 years of my life, I was like, it's the Chimera tank. Chimera. So I was going around reading, Harry Potter, and I had Hermy 1 over there, and I had Chimera tanks over here.
Hermy
1, like literally until the first.
Hermy 1.
Yeah, my only hope. Yeah, no, that's how I read those books until the first movie came out, and I was like, Hermione, they're saying her name wrong. It's spelled Hermy 1. Anyway, very cool chitinous armor here. Feels weird to say it that way. I kind of want them to make Gene Stealers now.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Can you imagine if Punga or Bruty just like did a little bit of 40k or a little bit of Age of Sigmar? Can you imagine all the money they would get?
I mean, Punga definitely could because they've done guns because they have all their like rattling stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I do keep like when Brute Fun did the squigs, I was like, hey dude, you should put spears on them and he was like, no, Blood Bowl only. I was like, dude, I'm very happy to have you on side.
Draw the line at a knuckle duster.
Yeah. This is almost a weapon. So Punga looks like they've got a cool part of the team. I wanted to mention the Torchlight one because they have a very kind of goobery, cartoony vibe, and they are bringing out what is looking up to be quite an entertaining necromantic team.
These are actually great.
I think they're going to be really fun on the pitch. You see some of the more extreme sculpts and you think, it's just plain not as good as this other team. But these sculpts are actually a lot of fun, and I can see someone picking up this team and just being like, this is brilliant. Like I love this on the pitch. Brute Fun's got a great serious necromantic team. The Games Workshop one's pretty good too, but this is where they've gone the kind of Torchlight, over-exaggerated hands, feet, and faces. It
really works, especially Necromantic, which is already quite a silly team. It's very, like Monster Mash.
There you go. This one, you've got again, just gigantic feet for one of the golems, I think is a really clever thing to do, and I think this is going to be really good fun.
That drain hole.
Is that a what?
Or is it just is that a drainage hole, or is it just a shoe hole in his shoe?
I mean, I'm hoping it's a shoe hole. And
I wouldn't print this hollow anyway.
I don't think you need to print them hollow, especially not with the way Torchlight do their scaling. They're a little bit wild and wacky with the scaling, which means that every time I get a team in, it's a case of like, right, okay, let's do a print, and then I go, wow, let's rebalance these until I get it right. But I do like them. There's a lot of flavour in there, and that there's a lot of stuff on the ropes. There's a lot of stuff coming that isn't fully out yet. So Grebo have got a cool looking Skaven team on the way. Hunger have got a very cool Witch Hunter team on the way for Kickstarters. There's a couple of Kickstarters coming up, and I can't remember what Agni are bringing out this month. Oh my god, I do know, because I have a picture of it somewhere. Where's the picture? I had a picture, because it's part 2 of the OWA team, and it is, they've got the policeman in it.
Oh yeah, the Conquistadors.
Exactly, the next part of the Conquistador build, which has got the hilarious policeman in it. Oh, come on, where did I put it? There it is. Boom. I wish to download that image and then bring the image up here.
Have I been killed in the camera?
Oh, you might have been killed in the camera.
Oh, there we go. I'm back. I've returned.
Okay, let's go there, and then let's go here. There we go. Right, so this is the next bit of the OWA team that they've got, including a little cheeky tree man with a moustache up here on the left, hidden behind Ben's face, which
wrong way. Yeah.
nothing we could do about that. But I think that's going to be a very cool build. And the police dude, straight out of the art for Gutter Bowl, which I think is just so good. And I knew that I didn't think it would take long for someone to do this art.
Yeah.
And I think it's
so good.
Perfect. He's got the chin strap. He's got the complete and utter lack of neck. And it's very cool. It's just super Blood Bowl. And this is something that's so good about all these third parties, is they can just smash out some really characterful stuff. And some of the models in this are just so good. Like this little dwarf guy here with the goggles. Like, I know he's a Blood Bowl player, but all of
these make so good D&D Town Guard.
Right.
Like unreal, yeah.
All got so much character that I mean, this is why we love Blood Bowl, because you've got so much a good like bit of narrative around the players and around the team. But these are just brilliant fantasy models.
Right.
And
so good.
I think all of what we're seeing from third party is just, I don't know, like it feels like we're getting to a point where the models are almost too good for just Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that Cindy Pie was all right in the front. That could be like your baker in your town, and insanely good.
Yeah, I think all of these guys are just making incredible NPCs.
Yeah, God, yeah. This could be released as like an NPC bundle on like Kickstarter, and you'll sell like hotcakes because D&D people buy everything.
Yeah, well, we see, and we get to repurpose a lot of that, which is actually quite nice most of the time. So there is a ton of cool stuff going on for third-party gear in Blood Bowl at the moment, and we'll do our very best to keep you up to date when it drops in its full completion. I do have to ask you a question though, Ben. What do you think about the massive knight model that they've brought out in plastic?
So beautiful, so beautiful. These Knight Lancers are like my favorite style of knight. There's something about having like a weapon and like a shield on a mech, like actual like arm stuff. Is just really fun. I love it.
I'm like, this is just a real, just beautiful mini. And the cool thing is, I don't have to buy it, because I can just buy it an epic scale, and it will be
you get 3 of them,
a fourth of the price, and I will actually build it, as opposed to the last night I acquired off eBay, where it's still in a box somewhere, half built, and going to. No, I didn't get it off eBay. I got it off Saxby. Did I get it off Saxby?
It's on eBay now.
It's going to Craig. It's going to Craig anyway, because he's like, I like knights. I was like, please take this away. And I never got that far. Anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out of Games Workshop at the moment, and there's a lot of even cooler stuff.
I might be buying that Lancer, you know.
Oh, dude.
It's just so cool. I might get it. I have no use for it, but I might get it.
Well, this is where Games Workshop win against 3D printing. because printing a vehicle in resin is miserable, in my opinion. I've done it a few times. I've printed a couple of dreadnoughts and a couple of like what are the big lads called for Tyranids?
Oh, Carnifex?
Yes, and a couple of Carnifex.
Yeah.
They're fine. But I've printed a knight, and when you get to like tanks or anything bigger than that, I just think it's just miserable, because you get resin kind of warps when you've got lots of different pieces. You have to file it, you have to fix it, and it's just, well, you might as well just have bought it from Forge World at that point. I mean, you saved a lot of money, but when it comes to plastic kits, the Plastic Games Workshop vehicle kits have always been pretty well designed. They tend to warp less, and you do get to, and this is the only time I'll ever use plastic glue, is because it genuinely just does a better job at this point. And you have to sit there for like 4 days and wait for it to work. But, you know, if you're building something like this, which is genuinely going to be the size of like my child when the child arrives, which I think is hilarious, it's, oh man, I would love to see you paint this as well. Because we were talking about your paint style in the group chat earlier, like for like the oils and stuff that you've used for your conquest gear. And at that point, I was like, if you ever did a knight with heraldry and flags with like the oil wear and tear and stuff, I was like, it would be
pretty nice.
It would be amazing. So
maybe I'll just get it. Start an Imperial Knight army just of Lancers. I think that'd be really fun.
Just one, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
I don't know how much the Cerastus Knight is, but apparently you can run it in 40k. I don't think this is one of the things that's been binned off, is it?
No. 40k's like Knights are actually quite fun in 40k now. You can hold objectives now.
Yeah, didn't they just get like nerfed a bit because someone cheated? No, not someone cheated, but it was to do with like them looking over terrain. Imperial Knights, Imperial armor.
Oh yeah, because I remember hearing something about that.
They all have,
like concealing or something.
They all have stupid names though. Like Cerastus Knight
Lancer.
Toughness 12, 25 wounds. It's quite a lot of wounds. OC 10, all right. You can fight off 5 Gretchen. That's pretty good for an objective. I don't know. Gretchen might be OC 1 actually. I'm not sure.
No, they are 2.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play them in 40k, which is very cool. I like the way they're doing this. I actually really like the way they're doing the 40k stuff at the moment, where you can log on and see what it does before you buy it, which, I mean, who knew? But yeah. All right, good stuff there. Any more news, Ben? Or should we talk about some hobby and games?
Let's do that. Let's hobby and games.
Hobby and games. Okay, so BT, we're going to talk about all your Blood Bowl bits next when we talk through the Warhammer World events, but I believe you've played some games.
Yeah, I've had quite a lot of games. So it started off, really. I went away for my board game retreat 2, where we hire a Airbnb in the countryside, middle of nowhere, surrounded by sheep, surrounded by owls. They were cute.
Owls are cute.
Yeah, owls are cute.
Well, yeah, but when you go away, surely you just hear the terrifying death screams at night instead.
It's magical. They were babies. They were like chewing up rats and stuff.
Oh, okay. That's not just death scream. Like, the cutest things are tiny, fluffy Dementors.
Like, wow, they were like this big. And anyway, they were there chilling. It was great. It was lovely. It was really peaceful, and we just played a bunch of games. Primarily Conquest. So a small group of our friends, we've just all gotten into Conquest at the same time. And yeah, so we all painted up armies for that, which is kind of what I've been doing lately a lot of.
We saw you painting yours. Did everybody get theirs painted as well?
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah, one person did like 2 armies. I barely managed one. I had a couple of models I hadn't finished. Another person did finish them all in like a day with a full-on like contrast job, which actually looked really good. And yeah, the other person was moving house. So
yeah,
you know how difficult that is.
Yes,
I didn't quite get them done.
That is a
Yeah.
fair, like, yeah, that's a fair get out of jail card.
But he now lives within eyesight, so it makes gaming
You
very
can throw
fun.
empty contrast paint pots at them. Just be like,
Exactly.
paint your force. Oh man, that is wicked. I don't remember seeing very many shots of that, but that may have happened.
Yeah,
Flurried away.
we did take pictures, but the lighting in the cottage was so bad
So
you couldn't really see anything.
dark
So
and yellow, and probably gave the vibes of an early 2000s lounge living room.
yeah, because we
Oh.
actually ran the event as like a tournament.
Ooh.
So the one of the guys who I went away with is like like an ambassador thing for Parabellum, like community like events guy. And so he kind of ran the event as a tournament. So he really wanted to take like pictures and like send it to them, but he was just like, these are garbage. we couldn't get any good lighting. It was all just like one bulb in the room. And it was really dark because there was no natural light.
Oh, come on, buddy. Bring a light. Like,
Should have done.
Bring a light.
Should have done.
Oh,
Yeah.
that does sound amazing. So it was 4 of you. So did you do round robin, essentially? Or
Yes. Yeah, we did some round robin. I had a couple of rematches and stuff. It was really good. The game is so fun. It's still my favorite wargaming system, I think.
Let's hope Old World lands and is as good.
It won't be.
It won't be. It won't be. It won't even look better. It will look more retro. And it will take more space.
Yeah, I
and
think
more
it
time.
could look better. Conquest is big. So like you have some epic clashes where you've got like, like 6 stands against 6 stands and everything's massive and 38 mil. And it just looks really awesome when it's all like painted and stuff. But speaking of smaller scale stuff, on screen, it was me last night. We had some friends visiting, and one of them is 10 mil mad, possibly more so than you, Ben.
Yeah. 6 mil has my heart, that's why.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how you do 6 mil. These guys were small enough.
Oh,
6 must be
I'll
tiny.
show you my 3 mil collection at some point.
What?
Yeah, 3 mil modern, dude. That's where
Just
it's at.
braille.
It's a grain of rice is the size of a human. Yeah, Oddsy or Osme. Oh, some wonderful little vehicles.
I think the majority of these are Forest Dragon miniatures as well.
They definitely look like it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a rule set that our friend David had brewed up with his friends that they play in Nottingham, and it uses Hordes and Heroes as a base, but Hordes and Heroes has apparently terrible rules for Magic, and like so to make it like fantasyified for Warhammer, they essentially just wrote their own rules, and it works really well, and it was really fun to play something that was just like pure like group friendshipness, like it was just oozing with like we love what we're doing here, and yeah, and it was great. He had his binder with all the army rules in. Just like high elves for you, beastmen for me. We did swap as well.
Are these little letters?
Yeah, so you can get disrupted. So there's little D like beads.
Oh, okay.
When they're stuck in melee, there's a one for M, so they haven't like charged at turn.
I was almost hoping that when you said they brewed up their own magic thing, that you cast the runes. I was like,
quite.
That's amazing. He's come up with a whole pot of runes that look awfully like those sweets that come on bracelets.
I'm pretty sure they are the bracelet beads.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, this looks so good.
Yeah, it was really fun. I've never played a game at the scale, and I can see why people love it because you have such an army. Like it's like Total War. It really is like Total War.
Oh man,
but actually playable.
This is it. Now Games Workshop have come back with this whole epic scale tag that they've just now created a logo for, which has sent everybody wild, going, "Oh, they're going to do epic scale games." So I'm like, well, they're about to drop their 3rd one, so yeah. It made me think that when they brought back the old world, they could have just brought it back at 10 mil, ticked 2 boxes off, so that the Total War lads could actually Total War on the tabletop.
I would bet so much money that a lot of players coming to Old World will be Total War players. Yeah, and I'd be interested in it.
They'll be totally poor players if they have to buy it all from Games Workshop.
Nice.
This. Thank you. I'm mostly ashamed. Are those the magic cards, or are those from Cards Against Humanity? Again, a really interesting magic system.
They're cards that they all made, and he got made up and like professionally printed. They got like backs and everything for the laws of magic, and describes the spell on. Yeah.
That is
So
very
the High
cool.
Elves had a wizard who cast from 2 laws. He had fire and heavens, and beasts were using shadow. Yeah, it was very cool.
I mean, the paint jobs are fantastic on these.
They really are. Yeah, he's done a phenomenal job.
I don't think I've ever painted anything this good, let alone 10 mil scale. 10 mil is the scale you go to when you don't want to paint things. It just looks good.
He did say there is they have an idea. They're going to basically, as a group, work on a Skaven army because no one wants to paint that many rats, and so what they're going to do is take a clan each, which means that if one of them wants to like run a clan, they can do that, and then if someone wants to run like a huge Skaven army for like a massive battle, they might do. They can all combine the clans and have like one big Skaven army.
Or Forest Dragon has teased the first of their Skaven units.
Yeah, it's had me excited. I might make Skaven my first 10 mil army.
Ooh.
It was going to be Bretonians. I actually have some printed out because there's something awesome about knights at this scale, having loads of them.
Yes.
But I mean, also having like a million stands of rats sounds really fun.
So you've got hex plates here. Was it a hex-based system?
It was hex-based, yeah. So it's all like hex facings, and it makes movement really simple because things either move like 1, 2, like cavalry moves like 4 hexes, and yeah, it's
interesting. That's one of the things Tiff has questioned me about some of these games. She's like, "Why do you have tape measures?" I'm like, "Oh, it's because how you move." And she's like, "You don't use squares or anything." So I know. She's like, "Oh, I can deal with the idea of counting to 4 and just being like square, 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 square." She was like, I don't know the other thing. Don't you? The best thing she said was, "Well, how do you know where to measure from? And doesn't that mean that you can measure it wrong?" And I was like, "Yes, people do this all the time in wargaming." She was like, "Well, that seems stupid." And I was like, "That's why Blood Bowl's so good. It's because
it's clean.
Yeah, there's no measuring issues ever."
Yeah, it's like this one was as well. Yeah.
Exactly. What's your range of shooting? 3 squares. I mean, I personally hate hex games.
Do you?
Yeah, just something about it just looks. It's super board gamey. It reminds me of like the old cardboard chit games, which are fun for that. But I think it's what we always talk about is like the immersion of like the figures and the board and everything like that. Where it's kind of like. It's too gamey to be a war game for me, even if the rules are significantly better.
I can totally understand that. Yeah, I would wonder what it would be like if maybe you had like a map with the hex very faintly printed, or even just like the dots.
Yeah.
Like Blood Bowl, where it's just very faintly there, so you can't quite see it, but if you don't move, you can. Like I wonder, because it's a very elegant system for moving. It does simplify things a lot, and these games are rapid. Like those are like 45-minute games.
That is a perfect amount of time.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wicked. That is so cool to see. I actually went to club. I achieved one of my hobby goals of playing some Armada, which was very cool. So I printed and painted 4 fleets. I say painted. I nearly did, but the house came up and things moved and timelines changed and then failed again. And as of today, failed again. The seller has gone missing, which is not terrifying at all. I forwarded Ben the message I got from my mortgage broker and solicitor earlier, which is a case of, it's just like he's just not responding anymore, and it's like, oh, that's not stressful. But we took 4 fleets down. Craig also brought a fleet. Ian was like, "Oh, I'll play as well," so I quickly in the afternoon printed a couple more orc boats because I was like, quickly, let's get 6 fleets on the table. Then Ian had to drop out and play Blood Bowl. So we had 4 fleets on the table. We had Sam and Rick playing basically Tomb Kings versus Dwarfs. This is Mantic Armada on one table. I love it. I painted loads of these little scatter trains bits while I watched Starship Troopers the other week. I was like,
these look so good.
It just adds to the immersion. Although I appreciate.
Is this your mat as well?
Yeah, it was only a 4x4. I thought I'd bring a 6. I thought it was a 6x4 mat because I've had it for years, and I was like, oh, cool. I can put it down, and then we can play 2 3x4 like tape. I was wrong. So Ian found this in the club room. Brace your eyes, Ben. This I don't even.
It's a blue screen.
I don't even know where this came from. He just had it at the clubhouse. He was like, "Oh, I've got something that we can probably use for this."
Can you chroma key like a wave GIF?
Actually, yes, I probably should have done that. I should have done that. But then Craig got his dwarves, which in classic Craig fashion are unbased. Bases are important for Mantic Armada, and this is the Orc fleet run by Greenskin Phil, who was like, "Oh yeah, can I be greenskins?" It's like, "Yes, you can." He's like, "Cool." Another day, he was like, "These look like they ram stuff. Can I ram stuff?" I was like, "Yes, you can." And then he proceeded to ram stuff, and then Craig's big dwarf dreadnought got rammed, killed everybody on board, accidentally caught fire, and then exploded. And it was just fantastic. It was so good.
Does the orc ship have 2 fists on a windmill?
Yeah. Yes, it does. They're called hammer
That's
fists.
incredible.
There's the hammer fist. There's that one's up here. You've got a blood runner as well, which is the one with the drill on the front. But
Wow.
which is that boat there. But this one is one of the hammer fists. I think this one was flying around the table at max speed, then got reduced to like no wounds, and then came all the way around the back and just took out one of Craig's last little dwarf boats. It was a really fun little game, and there was a lot of nonsense in it. A lot of me getting the rules wrong, which was interesting. Never played the game before, so running 2 games at once for a game I've never played before was stupid, I guess. But it was really good fun. Everyone seemed to have a laugh, and I got to tick one of my things off my gaming list this year.
That's awesome.
And seeing the
Yeah,
boats,
you've been waiting to do this for so long.
Yeah. Seeing the boats on the sea, on the tabletop, was kind of like, yeah, this is cool. This is cool. I didn't finish painting them all, but actually I was like, yep, the vibe is there. And I was like, this is very, very, very cool. So they've got the Chaos Dwarf fleet coming out soon. Which I don't know if I'll pick up. I was going to pick it up, but 4 fleets might.
I might look into this. So
it's super cool. That every single one of the fleets is great, but the Dwarf, Human, Tomb King, and Orc fleets, and now the Nauticans, which ride around on sea creatures, are all on the Mantic Vault, so they're all STL. So
nice.
So this was like, I printed these for resin pounds in my $5.99 subscription or something. I don't know how much it is, but I was just like, this is brilliant. This is so good. And I got the other bits.
Also, Mantic do that. It's really awesome.
They are trailblazing. As on the night, Ian Warhammer made a joke. He was like, "Oh, 3D printing's going to put them out of business." I was like, I bought these from them.
Yeah.
3D printing is putting them in business, because now we've got 5 people playing Mantic Armada.
Yeah, right.
I went to Entoyment. I bought that rule book. I bought these aids, and then I went to the dice shop online. And I bought like 50 D10s, and it was very satisfying. Although you know how a D10 has a 0 on it.
Yeah.
Well, 0s are 10s, and 10s are high in this game, so I had to source D10s with the 10 as a 10.
Oh, really?
Because it just made me sad looking at.
Okay, I see 0 as a 10. Like that's like a crit in D&D for me. So.
Yeah, although I did sneak a couple of spare D10. So there's one right there, which upsets me. But Sam Garner, there is a 10. So most of them were like that. But Mr. Garner was just the absolute monster of rolling 100s for crits. He'd be like, "I've got 2 shots at your boat, so it's just 2 shots," and he just like double 10 criticals here. It caught fire, like sunk Rick's boat. It was wicked. I was impressed with the rules. They're quite simple. They're pretty good fun. And this was basically everybody had like 100 points of boats. In a normal game, it's like 150. So there's more to add. But it was good. Ticked it off the list. Ready for like the house move and the summer club gap, and then coming back, and then hopefully we can start the next Wobble season in September.
Yeah.
Which would be wicked. But I got my game with Armada, and it means tried the rules. We like the rules. And ticked a game off. So I'm assuming that next for me will be Legions Imperialis, which is coming out in August. And that'll be a nice little thing that I can focus on, actually just getting something done.
Yeah, have a new space, have your own space, get stuff done.
Yeah, well, it's just that kind of like having a little game night meant that I was really motivated to get as much of this stuff done ahead of time, because I knew that things were going to start getting like really choppy and that time was going to be really limited. So it actually meant that I got a bunch of stuff done before time. But yes, now I guess the next focus will be getting the keys. Hopefully tomorrow, unless this guy's like missing, which would be tragic for him and his family, and me and mine. But yeah,
I hope it's okay, but think of the paperwork.
well, I do not want to deal with solicitors. I said to Tiff, I was like, if for any reason you ever want to divorce me, please just murder me in my sleep instead, because this is just unnecessary. So yeah, hopefully this time tomorrow, Ben, I will be taking apart a kitchen, ready to then build a kitchen and then build the studio.
Macro hobby.
Yeah, sadly so. But other games and hobby, Ben, hit up anything?
Just more board games than the holiday, but it was just chill. I did have 3 quite important games, which I guess we'll talk about now.
3 days. And yes, let's talk Warhammer World. Okay, so earlier on in the year, we went to the Sevens Day in the middle of the week at Nottingham, at Warhammer World, and it was great fun. So when we found out there was a triple header for Blood Bowl, we were like, yes, we have to do this. Milton was like, I've already travelled to the UK too many times, they're not going to let me in again. So that was fair. Trips was like, I'm away with the family. I was like, yes, this will be fine, unless the house deal comes through. To TBC. And then Ben was like, YOLO, I'm going
Yeah,
for
why
all
not?
3 days, and it's going to be amazing, because it was 7s on the Friday, it was 11s on the Saturday, and it was Dungeon Bowl on the Sunday.
Dungeon Bowl for dessert.
I'm so excited to hear how they all went. So BT, kick us off, man. Talk us through your journeys.
Well, okay. So I was gonna go up and so I was gonna stay in Nottingham, but it was really freaking expensive. I think it turned out to be some university event that I was on, which made all the hotels really expensive. So I was actually able to travel up through via my sister who lives in Leicester, which is very fortunate. So I was commuting in each day. So I was rocking up bright and early on the Friday after traveling up on the Thursday, and not hungover this time, which was great. I was already +1 up from our last Warhammer World adventure.
That was such a ropey morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was rough. It was great. So we got there nice and early, got let in at 10 o'clock. And why don't they open the doors at 9?
I know, I find that so baffling.
They did on the Saturday, actually. It was a 9 o'clock registration in Bugman's, so you go in through the side door, like through the staff entrance. Anyway, so we were there on the 11s, met everyone. I took Elven Union, so it was my College of Light team, the Lothan Legion on the channel. It was all very cleanly done. I got paired against Skaven, game 1.
Before we move into your rounds and who you played, the rules pack, was it?
Let's talk about that.
Was it the same as last time?
Yes, it was identical.
Because I think they've got an event coming up in October, which is again Blitzing Sevens,
Full Beard Cup, right?
Well, the Sevens one on the Friday, the 27th of October is exactly this. I think looks to be exactly the same rules as when we went up last time.
There
we go. Let's click this button.
This was also Blitzing Sevens. I think they just have Blitzing Sevens as the Sevens event. So,
which was 4 rounds.
Yeah, 4 rounds. Yeah,
4 rounds, 600 points, and no skills, but you get a random skill or whatever at the end of the game.
Yes. Yeah. Touch on that.
All right. So, okay, cool. So the rules are the same as last time. So you took 600 points of Elven Union, and then you got paired against Skaven?
Yeah. So game 1 was Skaven. So Elves against Skaven was already going to be a little bit of a
Elves Skaven
speedy match.
That's 3-2 in Sevens, surely.
Yeah, this was a 1-0.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it was a 1-0 win. It was just a really ropey game of rushing into end zones, falling over, you know, the usual. And then when that happens with Elves or Skaven, the ball usually ends up the other end of the pitch in the next turn. So, yeah, it was kind of a weirdly grindy win. But I thought I'd take it against Skaven. I was expecting to concede a few touchdowns there.
That's they have the special points, don't they? For conceding
Yeah.
0 touchdowns. That's
You
right.
get a bonus point. And that it will be very important later. My word. So yeah, so their scoring system ends up really tight. Like in the top sort of brackets, you end up with it coming down really to like minuscule bonus points. So conceding 0 was actually quite good. I was just hoping for a few more. I was hoping for the 3 or more. That's usually what I was playing elves. You're usually hoping for that. In sevens, 3 or more, quite a lot for 1 bonus point though. It's quite a feat, I think.
Looking at
Yeah,
my
dude. Yeah, that's true.
looking at my most touchdowns award for sevens.
Would you get like 8 or 9 or something?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it was 10.
10, yeah, obscene.
Oh, Skaven. Skaven.
Anyway, this win put me onto the upper end of the lists, and that meant I played against Greenskin Phil.
Yes! I remember seeing that message in chat. I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah. Whenever we've played against each other, which has actually been a few times because there's club as well. And every game we've had has been a thrashing one way or another. So I remember him playing orcs against one of my teams, and he just crushed and killed everyone. I played Chaos Wolves against the goblins, killed everyone, including a troll. And yeah, and so this game we were just like, okay, how's this one going to go then? He was running Underworld, so it's another stupidly fast team.
Yeah.
Especially with how he plays them. Ended up being 1-1 draw, which I was like, I'll take that. He's running Underworld in World Cup. I'm not really that good with Union. I'll take that, absolutely.
I love that he's just acknowledged Underworld, like, because he is just he's a goblin player through and through. He's an orc player through and through. Hence why he was running orcs in Armada. And the fact he confessed at club night, he was like, just going full dirty now, just going full dirty with the Underworld for a bit. Because they're so good. I was like, yes, they are very good. So pulling out a 1-1 draw against Greenskin Phil running Underworld that's solid play. That's
interesting as well. No thrower.
Solid. He wasn't running a thrower.
He went Rat Ogre, Gutter Runner, Blitzer, Skaven Blitzer, and a Snotling, which ended up being really annoying. So he took the Snotling over the thrower.
That is interesting.
Worked out though. He was like, "This is my most crucial piece. This is my star player."
But you can't swarm him on though.
No, but you just run him on. And he just gets in the way.
I mean, let's face it. that dodge step is horrific.
It was so annoying.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Frees up more room for more goblins because he had like 2 on the bench.
It will do. Yeah. A Snotling is basically 2 goblins and a thrower, isn't he? So.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did you manage to get lunch in?
Yep, grabbed a lunch. Managed to just pop off the KFC. Picked up a lunch. There was a huge queue, so
I did. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know if you did Bugman's.
No, next 2 days there was provided, which was good.
Fancy.
So yeah, that's quite nice actually. Anyway, we went on to round 3. I got drawn against Amazons.
Ooh.
And this was, sorry, I'll grab the coach name. Alistair Harris. He was an awesome gent, really nice guy. And I had a really good game. It was another 1-1 draw. It was quite a violent game, if I remember. I remember really gunning for his blitzers. No, his blockers, sorry. Yeah, I do it every time.
Everybody does.
He had managed to roll block on a blocker.
That's dirty.
Which was grim. So I was really trying to keep that up.
Blodger in sevens.
Yeah.
Right,
But
so this
yeah,
is game 3. So by this point, you've got 2
oh
skills as
yeah,
well.
I have 2 skills. So these actually worked out all right. So
Bend.
my first one, well, I did do generals and linemen this time because basically one of the reasons I ran Union was because Rick won this last time with Union.
He did.
So I was just like, right, let's do what he did.
Okay.
So I ran
I know.
2
Let's
Blitzers
net
Catch Thrower.
deck. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 2 Blitzers Catch Thrower, 3 linemen. Yeah, so I did generals on the linemen. I got strip ball on the first one. Actually, very handy.
Yeah.
Especially the teams I played against because there was like no Skaven thrower. Amazons, they don't have sure hands. So
even a 1 die is basically a 3+ balls coming out.
Yep, exactly. And it did come up. There was a point actually where he had like moved around my short hands guy to keep him out of the way, and I was like there chain pushing people into the ball carrier to put him next to it and then do a 2 die up on there for strip ball, and it was like double push. I was like, there you go.
Ball pops out. So you got short hands on the other.
Oh, sorry, no, it's a strip ball. So
okay.
no, I didn't get short hands on the other. I got what did I get? I can't remember these random skills. It was pointless.
Shadowing, tackle, frenzy, pro, kick.
Pro. I got pro.
Pro's great, especially on elf.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I rolled a 1, got the pro roll, 3+, rolled another 1, and they died on a dodge. So...
yeah, okay.
It was brilliant. Pro worked, the dodge didn't.
You got Blood Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then so after that game, I then got. Could you run through the skills again?
Block, wrestle, tackle,
tackle,
kick, strip ball, sure hands, pro, fend, shadowing. Wrestle.
I think. Oh, I got tackle. I got a tackle guy, which I was just like, brilliant, awesome. So then round 4, I got drawn against Kemri.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I love random skills in a tournament environment. That's so
nice.
This is what Milton went with last time, wasn't it? It was a case of like I had no skills going into round 3.
Yeah. Last time I had like safe pair of hands and fumbler skis.
Oh yeah. So Kemri. Okay, Sevens, Kemri against EU. Okay, Kemri. 2 schools of thought here. They've either gone blitzer, thrower, maybe a Tomb Guardian, or they've gone heavy on Tomb Guardians with 1 ball picker-upper. What was their angle?
They hadn't. They had taken a mercenary lineman.
Oh, this was one of the confusing points of the rules pack.
Yeah, so the rules pack never stated you couldn't. And as per the rulebook, you can take mercenaries as inducements. And there was no caveat not to. So a few people did. Actually, I think saying a few is a stretch. I think a couple of people did. This player was one of them. They took a human lineman with dodge, sure hands, passing busted because who cares, and I think armor busted. It was all really crazy. My tackle guy was basically the cruise missile for that guy because they actually had a dodge player. I was just like, oh, you do have a dodge player. So I think they've gone for 2 Tomb Guardians, a Blitzer, and no, I think it was 3 Tomb Guardians and a Blitzer. Yeah, 3 Tomb Guardians and a Blitzer.
So they did go heavy on the Tomb Guardians, and then using the Mercenary to fund
carry the ball,
an extra positional, a custom positional. That I feel like that might need to be edited in the rulebook. Otherwise, you're just going to.
They should at least count as a positional because it's broken.
Yeah.
Like 50k for that dude.
What?
Not sure hands guy. Yeah.
Oh no, he's got loner.
It's got short hands. It's the only thing he wants to do anyway.
In Sevens, everyone has loner 7+ because you don't have rerolls. Yeah. That's cool. I mean, I love the list. I love the list building theory there. I think that's brilliant. Anyway, did you manage to nuke?
No, that was a 2-1 loss against the Camry. So I nuked his ball carrier dude. But it still wasn't enough because when you roll a 5 or 6 to pick it up, that's what you need to do. It's hard to get that free. So breaking breaking cage three Tomb Guardian cages with elves on sevens is really tricky. So.
Yeah, normally you can balance that with the fact that they can't pick up the ball unless they pay for a thrower. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
So got the Google sheet here, Ben, with your final positions and everything.
Yes.
Oh, you were running high elves, were you?
Was this on?
This is sevens.
This is sevens?
Yeah.
No, this is I think you got the.
Have I got this the wrong way around?
You've got the 11s one. Hang on, let me link you the sevens.
Oh no,
one.
here we go. No, I got it. Blitzing
Yeah,
sevens
there we go.
result. There we go.
Yeah, that's the one.
11.
So they came 25th out of 45th, so pretty much dead center.
Oh,
which I'll take.
45 people playing.
It was good.
Playing
good
sevens is
on a Friday as well.
So good.
Yeah. Drew did very well. So, South Coast Bonehead champion Drew Blood came
Steve Cross himself coming in 4th. Drew coming 6th. Yeah. Paul Blunt coming 12th. Chris Blunt 14th. Papa Z was there 17th.
Yeah. Good to see him.
Oh, that's a good result, Papa Z. I recognise a lot of these names. Oh, this is wicked.
It was good. It was good to see familiar faces.
Oh no, Chris Brown, what happened with your necromantic, dude?
Where did he come?
Interesting scoring system. I mean, we ran through it last time, and you were quite pro it, weren't you?
Yeah, I was initially. I think I've gone off of it.
And honestly,
I think it's
drawing 1-1 and getting less points than someone who drew 0-0. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't feel right. It just, I mean, technically, I think in our tournament system, because of the perfect defense extra point being worth 1 and a touchdown being worth 1, it's the same because it's a draw result. So
which kind of should be.
Which, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. But no, that was wicked. I mean, gotta imagine it's great fun to play out some sevens, Ben.
Yeah, it is really good. I really did enjoy it. Sevens is a fun system, especially in tournament. You get 4 games in a day. It's not even a long day. It's good. Anyway, the meet was the Saturday.
Now, Eventbrite hides everything once it's done, so I can't actually go back in time and check out the rules back. But you got the Full Beard Cup coming up 28th of October, and I figured the rules will be probably quite similar. So
Full Beard is 1200. Ours was 1150.
Oh, that's
for the team
interesting.
build.
I wonder why the extra 50 points.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe to get a weird mercenary. So, so sorry, team draft is the same though in terms of skill points. So it's using the match play guide skill package. So tier 1 36 SPP or whatever, and then tier 2, I can't remember what it goes up to. Is it 40?
Can't remember 42? Either, and I have no idea where I put the book.
But anyway, tier 1 you get 6 primary skills on a tier 1 team. Basically, is what you get.
And you were running Helms this time.
I was, yes. So it was tier 1 high elves. I was running what is going to be my World Cup roster, or what is my World Cup roster because I logged in now. Minus 1 skill because it's 7 primary for World Cup.
That's all right.
Yep, I lost a wrestle catcher. Just had a naked catcher.
Okay.
So I had my build was 2 blitzers, 3 catchers, a thrower, 5 linemen, 6 linemen.
12 dudes.
12 dudes, yeah.
3 rerolls?
3 rerolls, a coach. So that was it. So did that. So I had dodge on both blitzers, dodge on 2 catchers, block on the thrower, and a kicker.
Block on the thrower. That's interesting.
Really handy, actually. It was a suggestion from the squad. I was initially going to go just
accurate
dodge or accurate or something. Or cannoneer, because they actually have, cloudburster. And he was like, put block on him. And it actually did come up quite a lot. Yeah? Like having a 3rd blitzer was actually quite handy, and it kept him quite safe. So he didn't have the ball for long. Does tend to yeet it. So but it's actually quite handy to have that.
Was it 3 rounds of 11s on the Saturday?
Yeah, 3 rounds of 11s. Yep. Yeah, 2-hour, 15-minute games, quite long games.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah,
I mean, we tend to do 2, but we always have a break in between rounds. Like we leave the
yeah,
bleed, so it is more like 2 hours 15 really.
yeah,
And I know that they tend to spread out their days with like breaks in between. Well, they did
quite
with
a
the
lot. Yeah,
summons, yeah. Which
yeah, the
I,
same here.
I think it's all right when you're in Warhammer World because you kind of want that extra time to be mincing about and be like, "Ooh,
Yeah,
I've got time to
yeah,
go
it
do
was
stuff."
quite tight to get into the like exhibit sometimes. And they close at 8 on the Saturday. So on this one they close at 10.
Yeah.
But even the bar was closing at 8 on Saturday, which really shocked us. Like we got a drink at like 10 to 8, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, bar's closed." And we were just like, "Oh, could have told us if we bought our drinks."
Oh, that's such a miss.
Yeah, so we were there just like downing our drinks. Um, so yeah. Anyway, so I had game 1 in 11s. I was up against Richard Garfield with his Snotlings, who is, I think, a legendary player in the North. It seems like, and Geordie chap, and just the most into Snotlings guy I've ever seen in my life. He was so nice. And no, he wasn't a Geordie. I think he played at Geordie Bowl. I think that was it. Sorry to all Geordies and Richard himself.
This is a problem with people who are this far. Like when you are
Mate,
from the south, anybody north of Salisbury is kind of from the north.
yeah, it's like Newcastle, Sheffield, it's all the same. So yeah, so he was running Snotlings.
Did he have hack phlegm?
No stars, which proper respect.
I love
It
this.
was 2 trolls, 2 pump wagons, 2
Nice.
bombers,
Yes.
bribes, million dudes. He rolled maxed out on his Ratus rookies, so he had all the dudes, and it was just so much fun. And it was a hard game. It was one of the hardest games of Blood Bowl I've ever played, and I got seriously bailed out in it. He ended up getting the ball on his pump wagon,
But
which was,
they have no hands.
do they?
Yeah. I remember you saying this the other day, and I was like,
Cool.
maybe he meant like a bouncer lad or something. That
No.
is not the positional. But no, they ruined Snotlings. Like I love Snotlings, but the new ones, I'm pretty sure, have got no hands because
Oh, okay.
in the secret league before, the Snotling roster had Snotlings with bad agility but no but with bad agility but with extra arms. So they had +1 to pick up stuff because they had. But this edition doesn't have hands.
Okay. Might have been a miss there, but it was okay. Nuffle knew, and he rushed into the end zone with a pump wagon and fell over. So, um,
Oh no, I'm making that up. It's fine.
oh, they do have hands.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's
Okay,
just
cool.
they got agility busted.
Pretty sure they can't pass.
They've got no passing. Yeah, I don't know why. I
Yeah.
thought they had no hands. That's amazing.
All this time, Ben, you could have been carrying your ball with a pump wagon.
Well, that's what I did with the secret league team. Oh man, what a complete idiot! I don't know where I read that and why I thought that. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, I didn't question it because this guy clearly knew his Snotlings, and so I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, you do. And but yeah, breaking Snotling cages.
You can't do it, man.
I thought 3 Tomb Guardians was tough. Then you have 2 pump wagons for stand firm, and you just have a million Snotlings in the way, and you've got the like Stilties and Hoppers don't have Titchy, so even dodging into the cages sucks. Oh, it was brutal. I just could not get anything loose, and I was just throwing elves at pump wagons, and they were just getting battered. And yeah, so eventually I ended up getting the ball loose, which bounced onto the pump wagon, which then grinded to the ends. I just couldn't get it free, and it rolled a 1 in the end zone, so tripped over. And I've never seen the cries of despair on a grown man. It's just quite something to see.
But that would have been just such a heroic moment.
It would have been. I felt terrible. But then it was my receive, and I managed to get a
Coast
1-0
to coast.
win. Yeah. So it wasn't actually all that much stalling. There were definitely it was kind of just more of I wanted to remove like bombs to free up my players. It was just a bit of a grindy thing. There was a couple of pops loose and then pick up again, do what elves do. But I just basically got 1-0 out of there. I didn't want to throw a teammate, which, okay. So it did actually, he had 1 turn left and he could do it. And he nearly did it. I had kick, so I kicked it really deep. He did a great job of moving it up. He threw the guy 4+ the land, dies. And I was like, no. It was so well done. He had these 2 really clean chances to get a touchdown and just got missed. Yeah.
That sounds exhausting.
It was like I said, it was one of the toughest games I've ever played. Snotlings are a good team.
Yeah, man, Snotlings are straight up brilliant.
Tier 3 is actually quite generous.
Yeah.
I think they do border tier 2 in some regards. They're just so annoying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quantity.
I think it's just because Stunty isn't allowed to be tier 2, so it's like.
I think that probably is it, and I don't know. They're just awesome. Snotlings are so good.
It works out. They are good, but they are so prone to just things completely backfiring.
Yeah, they're kind of combo.
Get sent off immediately, and yeah.
Pumps are gone. Trolls are stupid. Bombs blow up, which now is a significant change.
He took safe pass on both his bombers, which is really.
I love that. Just like, cool new rules. I'm going to completely ignore those.
Yeah. I wasn't even sure if it works, but I guess it does because it just follows the normal passing rules.
I assume it does, yeah. So safe pass on a fumble, you just don't fumble, but the activation ends. It might actually say when you throw the ball, but I don't know. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the bomber just follows the rules of pass or throwing the ball. So
it should do. That makes sense. So hopefully that's the case. So wicked. So that was round 1 for you.
Yep. Round 2, I played against Korn, Alex Robson, who was actually a guy I got talking to during lunch because we were there together. So lunch was provided in the staff canteen. It was like a buffet. It was awesome. Loads of food.
In the canteen, did you say?
In the staff canteen, yeah.
Oh, cool.
You all go round through the back where all the staff have their lunch, and they've got like a little canteen area, like school dinner. It was really good. It was nice of them to provide that actually. So queuing up in Bugman's for ages.
Yeah, I was gonna say that must be carnage on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's busy. There's a lot of people there.
On a Saturday just before the school holidays, actually, wasn't it? So
it's actually after for a lot of people because Leicester breaks up early, and so that kind of area of the Midlands they're all off. So yeah, I was playing against Alex. He's actually a guy who runs a league in China. So I was talking to a lot of them in the south, a lot of the guys at lunch who play in like the Southeast Asia. In a guy in Thailand, and I'd gone to a shop in Thailand, and so I was just like, "Do you know this shop?" And he was just like, "No, but I'm going to tell my mate who's there right now.
Go to this shop.
This is awesome. Yeah, it's a cool shop. They've got an Imperial Knight.
Oh, that's I should know that shop.
Yeah,
I should know that.
Right?
Shop.
They should. It's a bit in the sticks of Bangkok, but it's good. It's a good fun day out. Yeah, so we ended up actually playing against each other after lunch, which was awesome. Amazingly lovely guy running Korn. And this is where I kind of like, I had my warm up with Snotlings, did the elf stuff of, stupid passes into touchdowns, run the catches round like the gutter runners, and just completely, it's just all pressure, like pressure.
Yes.
As soon as you have an opportunity, you're legging it around. I think I blitzed on him as well, which didn't help. And his blood spawn got really stranded, which meant he wasn't doing anything. He kept staying on the floor. He kept trying to move him, and he kept going on the floor. It was just
if you pressure Korn and they have to use their blitz somewhere else, then the big lad does get definitely left on his own. We saw that when we streamed at SCA when Drew was running Korn, even in Sevens. His opponent did a great job of just being like, well, I'm over here, the ball's over here, you've got to do stuff over here, which meant the blood spawn, which was like, well, it's 150k is just standing in the middle or on the face, just being like, I can't do anything. And it's excellent, like, as a tactic, because the thing is with Korn, if they land a hit, the death will snowball.
Oh yeah,
hard.
big time.
pressuring and pulling it off is wicked. So what was the result?
So it's 3-1, and this is where I'm saying the scoring thing really mattered, because I did a really dumb play where that we were playing on the cardboard pitches, and I know the fold line is movement 8 territory. So if you're on the fold line with your catcher, you're in scoring range. Now, I think I had some kind of slip up where I moved him behind, maybe because I'd been used to this like gutter runners, where you can be behind the line. But it was like I had him just one behind, and I could have had all the opportunity in the world to move him one closer. I just chose not to because I wanted to be within passing range or one square closer. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm going to try anyway. I'll do a rush into the end zone. One. I mean, that always happens. It happened already like 5 times this weekend. And so he falls over, and I'm like, it's okay. I think at this point I was 2-0 up. And so I was just like, it's fine. I'll just take that. And then he had 1 turn left, and he picks the ball up. He's about to say just like, oh, I can't score. And I'm just like, well, your blood spawn's there in the backfield. He's standing up now. It's like, you never know. You could roll 6s. He's just like, he could roll 6s, couldn't he? So he picks it up with the corn gore, hands it off to a Bloodseeker, and then he says, he does the handoff. It's successful. Bloodseeker gets it. And he's just like, what's the passing stat on a Bloodseeker? 6+. And he's like, okay, I hand it off to the spawn. And I'm just like, did you see the handoff? He was like,
I'll throw it.
Oh, I'll throw it then. And I was like, yes, you will. And he runs it up next to Bloodspawn, throws it, quick pass to the Bloodspawn, gets a 6. Actually, I think it was a short pass. It was like a long range pass. Gets a 6, and Bloodspawn catches it. And then Bloodspawn activates on a 4+ and runs it in. And I'm just like, that's nonsense. You've got the ball from one end of the pitch and scored it in 1 turn with corn.
With corn.
Yeah, obscene. And yeah, that was it with 2 rushes as well. So
that is props to that.
I think Jay had observed that. Designer Jay had observed it and was like, this is gross. But I deserved it as an elf player. And then I scored another touchdown. And it made it 3-1. So that was that. So why that mattered was because I lost my perfect defense. So have that in mind to talk about game 3, which was against Adam Gaskell with Dark Elves.
Ooh, proper tier 1 off.
Yes, this was elf on elf. I had my stunty, I'd had my bash. Now I was up against dash, and it started off really close. He was definitely punching me. He had tackle blitzer, which was really annoying because I had all this dodge that I stuck in my players now. Yeah. But I think I just started getting momentum, and like we were saying earlier with the pressure, high elves pressure a lot better than dark elves do. Dark elves grind through. Yeah. But high elves can just be like, oh, I've got a movement A catcher that's going to score as soon as I get the ball, which happened basically. Like managed to break balls free, pick it up with a thrower, quick pass, long pass, short pass, who cares? And you're not going to intercept it. So and then they catch it and then run in, and that happened a lot, and that was a 4-1 win in the end.
Whoa! Outrageous points.
Yeah, even Drew saw towards the end. So Drew had finished his game 3. He was spectating, and he just watched me just to roll all these dice and then throw the ball like the length of the pitch and catch it and run it in. And he was just like, I hate elves. People are afraid of passing, but passing's great. When like the worst case scenario is a 3+ with a reroll into a 2+ with a reroll, it's pretty good.
It is really filth. No, I love elves. They take the pressure off Skaven players. It's very useful.
Yeah.
Because the Skaven coaches can be, well, look at those guys. Like they're all edge too. And everyone's like, oh yeah.
At least we die.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's a proper win.
So I went 3-0, which I was really happy with because again, this is my World Cup roster, so it's made me feel quite reassured about it.
With one less skill.
It's nice. With one less skill. Yeah, I'll have Wrestle, which is going to be really good because I did quite struggle against some ball carriers. Getting that opportunity to knock them free is quite nice. So
we need to get you a little laser pen to put on the side of the board to identify your 8th square.
Yeah, that would be good actually. I might put a little token there because it's really handy to know where you just need to run up to. And you're in threat range now.
I use the Bonehead pin tokens.
Yeah.
When it comes to fast scoring times with Skaven, I'm like, right, where is my point? Where's my 11
Yeah.
squares? Like, this is where I need to be. Just drop a little token to the side, and you're like, I need to be there. I need to be there. I need to be there. Ben, scoring wise, take it away, man. I mean,
So yeah, it was so tight, and they were saying this at the start. So a couple of guys I went to, they were just like, "Oh, you went 3-0. Good job, good job. It's really good." And I said, "You've got to get podium with that." I was like, "I don't know. I think I didn't get like many casualties at all. Like very few. I think I only got like 4.
you did get 4, yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, oh, I'm going to miss out on a bunch of points there because I didn't have any games where I got maxed out. And even against Snotlings, I scored 2. And so yeah, I was just like, I don't know. And I was like, oh, no, you got it because you got loads of touchdowns. And I was like, oh, we'll see. And it ended up being so close. They announced that it came down to 1 bonus point between so first place was a short bet, and then second, third, fourth, and fifth was basically 1 bonus point in it. And looking at the score thing, you can see it's like 6 tournament points, 5-5-4-4, 4-4-6-6, 5-5-8-8, and it came down to casualties inflicted, which was the tiebreaker basically, which is the final tiebreaker that they use. So if I had scored 1 more bonus point, which would have been not conceding a touchdown against Korn, who did the 6+6+6+6. Like, I was there looking at that being like, oh no, like Jay came to me and the second day on the Sunday, and I was just like, Ben, last night I just like crunched the numbers and
You would have been second.
You would have been second place if that had happened. I was like, why did I make him believe in himself?
Oh, I mean, two Nurgle coaches coming 2 and 3 is awesome.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome to see actually. I'm gutted I couldn't get to spectate their games because all of mine went to like the last minute.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to see what they're doing. So when I saw like 2 Nurgle on top table, I was just like, wow.
And Orcs coming first is wicked too.
Yeah.
But I mean, a great bunch of teams. Skaven coming 4th makes me very happy. Lee Hamilton, you're a lad. Beautiful job. Human Elf, of course. Underworld. Chris Blunt there, number 12.
Yeah,
Drew,
he did very well.
11th. Steve Cross, all the way down at 8th. Because he's running Orcs, that's why.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Brown, 14 with Amazons. Nicely done.
Graham Pickett had a bad time with Dwarves. Old Boric G. Yeah, he was not bashing. I think he went up against Amazons in one of his games as well, just like, oh, here we go. Or as Snotlings or something. He had a team and he just got completely outdone.
I think it was one of our events last year as well, because I think he ended up playing his own mate Paul, who was running Amazons. He was like, this is going to be wicked. He didn't get a single Kaz. Mark Nichols with Norse, 28th. Oh, man. There was a ton of coaches here. This is wicked to see.
Yeah. Graham did, though. We got chatting in one of the games. We were talking about Gotrek and Felix. And he actually treated me to a copy of the first omnibus. So thank you very much, Graham. I've already started it.
Such a good book.
Yeah, so good.
Chaos Dwarves down the bottom, actually. Interesting. Right, that is all very cool. I mean, congratulations on going 3-0. Going 3-0 anytime is brilliant. And yeah, it's not the worst scoring system in the world. It's whatever you do with scoring systems, we always get this. Our events, people are like, if it was scored slightly differently, the results would have been different. And when you're playing only 3 rounds, it's massively different. And I think we weight casualties and touchdowns the same, but we kind of just include them in the big points. So, a win of 3 touchdowns is worth 4 touchdowns. No, we cap at 3. It's similar. It's all similar, but that's very, very cool. But then, Ben, you had probably don't want to do that. You had the Dungeon Bowl day.
Yes. So Dungeon Bowl for dessert. Yeah. Everyone just rocked up to this being just can't remember the rules. Just going to see how it goes. And we're just like, yeah, I don't know the rules either. I haven't played it since we recorded the videos on the channel. Let's see how it goes. I brought fire because I thought, well, I've done elf and elf. Yeah. And may as well do something that's a bit different, quite different. Let's have some ogres and some dwarves. And it was a lot of fun. So we were all wondering how they're going to do their pitches. Because we obviously we got ours printed on posters and it was really good. We had all the layouts in advance so people could kind of make their list knowing what the dungeon layouts were going to be, thinking just like, okay, I've got a couple of corridors there, I need people to block them and things like that. Here it was just a wild card. So they had what they ended up doing, obviously not using tiles for everyone. Like Jay actually said to everyone, like, even though the rules say agree between your opponent, you know, on a dungeon layout in a tournament, that sounds like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
So
I concur with that.
Yeah, agree with your opponent is not what you should have in your rules pack for a tournament. And so they had printed out on these gorgeous posters. I've got to say, they looked expensive. Like four different dungeon layouts, and they actually used all the room rules, which was really interesting. We didn't think they'd do that. And all of us were unsure when we all saw that. We walked in on the day and we just saw all these dungeons with all the room rules like scattered around them. We were like, oh no. We barely remember how to play, let alone having to play with the room rules, which no one's done.
Well, yeah, even we've shied away from that on the channel just because of that.
So much management.
We're just like, yeah, seems might be a bit much.
All of us changed our mind by the end of it. I think having the room rules there, but only because they're printed on the board next to the room. That's the only way you can actually do it. That made it really fun, and it actually made each game really quite different. I think some rooms are broken, as bad word. There was one with a flaming fire pit, a flaming chasm with a rope bridge, and if you get pushed into the chasm, it's not treated like a wall, so you can just choose to be pushed into it, and you just die. There's no armor, no roll, no injury roll. So that was good fun. I had my dwarves with up against some werewolves in game 3 and frenzied into the fire pit to meet the Balrog. Yeah.
Ooh, so I've got a picture of one of them. They are asymmetrical.
Yep, completely.
So do you roll off with your opponent?
You roll off and you choose a side. Yeah. So there was one game where we did swap sides.
And
we were set up.
Only one access to the TD room.
Yes. In all of the games, I'm pretty sure there's only one access room. But sometimes they're different. Sometimes you have a corridor going into it. Sometimes you have a corridor going along it, but with a doorway on. So it's still technically one access point. But
interesting. How did that feel? Because obviously the way we've done ours, there's always 3 points of access, and maybe that's something that we need to decrease.
Maybe
because it might make it too easy to score.
I mean, game 2, I'll talk about that because that's where it really. I could just talk about this now because I don't have to go in order. So in game 2, I played College of Fire against College of Life, and he had a tree man in the corridor, which led up to a room, and I think we'd incorrectly placed the portal in that corridor. I don't think you're allowed to do that. It didn't really matter. It helped him more than me because for me to get past the portal, past the tree man with a College of Fire team when both my Noblars are out of action, that is unpleasant. And the end of the game, we had back and forth about 30 seconds per turn, me rolling my Troll Slayer 2-day up blocks, him doing whatever he could. He had a beast there doing like being in the way as well. So I had basically all of my guys in this corridor next to his deployment zone, next to his end zone, with a beast and Nurgle there and a tree in the way. Trying my Troll Slayer in the one square that's free because there's a portal next to him, just doing 2-day up Dauntless blocks. Sometimes they worked. Then he falls over, doesn't die. The beast activates, just hits someone. That's it. And then it's over to me. And I think we had at least 12 turns back and forth.
God.
Of just the same thing. It was the same thing until we ran out of time. We called it a draw. Well, actually, it wasn't a draw because there are no draws. Actually, yeah, there are. It's very rare to get a draw in Dungeon Bowl in this rule set because you have 2 points if you score by winning a touchdown. You win by scoring a touchdown, and 1 point if you win by having the ball closer to their end zone at the end of the game. Yeah, which is an interesting way of doing it. We didn't like it. it felt really weird, especially in my game 3. I played against Beasts, where we kind of both agreed to one more turn. Don't really know why. And we were running out of time, to be fair. But I had to just do like a Hail Mary blitz through. I was really near his end zone with the ball, tried to get through, rolled the skulls, fell over, and he basically picked up with a werewolf and just ran and ran. And the ball was one square closer to my end zone, so he won the game. And it was just like, that felt a bit naff.
I love the look of the dungeons. I mean, they're proper graphics. It looks really cool, and they're spaced out. And this looks like a proper game of Dungeon Bowl. Like this looks like a proper game of let's put rooms and corridors down and play a game of football in there. And
yeah,
that has got a hefty amount of charm to it. But I mean, from the games we've all played, having just one corridor of doom. I mean, God, when we played that first game on the channel, Ben, when we got the Dungeon Bowl box early, and we were going, I was like, this could be miserable.
Yeah.
And that's why we were like, well, actually, you know what? I think I'd rather I got blown out in 25 minutes and then we can rack up and play again or a different game than spend 45 minutes just ogre punch stand.
I think I saw a couple of staff members wincing at our game. He was like, oh God, this is terrible. It felt like the whole weekend, this day felt like a board gaming day. This didn't really feel like a tournament, which I think was fine. And it was really fun. And I think I had a good time as a result.
Was this your picture?
Yes, this was mine. This was against one of the O'Dwyers. Sam. No, this was Liam O'Dwyer.
Is this
College of Life
fire team?
Oh, sorry. No, this was Sam O'Dwyer with fire. Yes, this was his fire team.
Oh,
sorry, they were green.
Yeah.
Yes, this was fire. This was fire on fire, which was actually my fastest game. Ironically, I thought it would be the slowest one.
I mean, from what I can see of that paint scheme, it's lovely. It's very
rich, really nice team,
really crisp, and I love green, so that's a nice scheme. I like that. Cool pitch, and they got Bonehead Championship token.
He was a Bonehead Championship winner.
Oh, what an absolute hero! That's so cool to see.
So we went up against each other. He was like, I know you. I know who you are.
Yeah, you were like, I know you. I know you. I know how you play, Ben. Oh, that's wicked. So, for the day, how did you do? 28th for this one.
Yeah, it wasn't too great. It was a loss, a win, and a loss.
Dungeon points. How'd you get how'd you get 3 dungeon points then? Is that touchdown?
Was it?
It looks like 3, then 2, then 0.
Did I win the fire game?
Because you got 2 points.
Oh yeah, I think I did win that fire game actually.
And the winners got 9. There was only 3 games. Was it 3 games?
Yeah, only 3 games. Yes, I think it was a touchdown win on the first game. Yes, because he nearly got it. And I was able to nab it back and it like basically completely turn it around. Did I? I can't remember how it went. Sorry, it was really good, but the games were all so carnage, and it was just there was so many games of it going into one zone, and then just rules just screwing everything up and then getting it back. It's like life. He nearly scored immediately with the War Dancer, but he had to do a 3+ leap over my ogre, and just stacked it off, and then the ball went the other way.
This is very cool.
Yeah.
Now you've got the rankings here. Unfortunately, they don't have the colleges on, which is a bit of a shame.
No, yeah, they only just showed them as.
Paul Blunt coming in 4th is wicked. Chris Brown coming in 2nd is wicked. Drew coming 6th is wicked. Graham 11th. Chris Blunt 14th again. It's just wicked to see a whole bunch. Michael Dunlop. There's a bunch. It's just a whole bunch of wicked stuff here. 34 people playing Dungeon Bowl is very, very, very cool. And those pictures do look really nice.
It was fun to play against both Sam and Liam O'Dwyer as well. They're 2 brothers who went down together. So I played against Liam and then chatting afterwards and then played against his brother straight afterwards, which was quite fun.
There is something really special about playing in Warhammer World, isn't there?
Yeah, it is really fun.
it's just an extra spectacle to it. That's really cool. Did they kind of spread the rooms out in between the different maps as well with the special abilities and stuff?
Yeah, so a lot of the rooms, there are very few duplicates
Yeah.
across them. So pretty much every map you play on is the same. I think they reused a couple of them. And if you had already played, if both people had already played on one, they like swap them out for you, which is quite good. So they just go along and give you a new one because they have a whole bunch of spares. Sadly, not enough to
Give away.
lend or give away. Yeah, we did try.
Was it like waterproof player? Was it waterproof poster kind of thickness? Was it?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't so. It was matte finished. It was like Can you imagine if you have like a corporate banner?
Yes.
That you like roll up? It's that material.
That's genius.
So it's quite chunky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got me thinking now.
Mm.
Okay, so what would you think would be better, playing a format like this or playing with 6 chests, 3 balls, and playing for a fixed period of time? Because obviously that's
6 chests, 3 balls.
Because that's what we're talking about doing for Dungeon Bowl next year, just to maximize gameplay, give a different shake up, and just have more action happening.
Yeah.
I think
I like the rooms for this, but the format of like having 1 ball and having it be closest to the end is just not very fun.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I just don't. Dungeon Bowl is just so blooming unique.
Yes, I think it's impossible to balance it.
Yeah,
so.
I think it is, and I think that's part of the fun of it.
Yeah,
and when you chuck in the room rules and everything, it's a proper spectacle. So
it was really silly.
That was the day I was most sort of excited for. Was the Dungeon Bowl just because I was like, how are they going to do it? Because like busting out 26 copies of Dungeon Bowl would be miserable, like absolutely miserable.
Like the chests,
and the little cardboard doors and stuff. I'm like, no, that's just not possible. Wicked, cool. So of the 3 days, Ben, which was your favorite?
Probably the 11th because I did the best.
That is good to hear, and given that you're running that team in the World Cup, that is like that's good stuff all round, I think.
Yeah, I do, still really like playing 11's Blood Bowl in like tournament format. It is fun. But it was really good to do the 7s in Dungeon Bowl as well. Because I'd never really played Dungeon Bowl other than playing you on the channel. So it was fun to play it. Yeah.
I wonder if they'll do a Sewer Bowl next year at all?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
Because that
I could see them maybe rocking it out maybe instead of Dungeon Bowl. I don't know. They probably want to reuse these. Yeah. They weren't cheap.
Dungeon Bowl is special.
It is. Yeah.
It is really special.
I think Sunday game.
Yeah. Bang on the money there. So they've got a 7's Day coming up on the 27th of October, and then they've got the Full Beard Cup, which is a 2-day 11's event, which I think is 5 rounds.
Yes, it is 5 rounds.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, you can't.
Doesn't clash with Bonehead, does it?
No, we're the weekend after.
Cool. Yeah, because I think I might do this.
Really?
I think I might do this one.
I won't. That I'm not going to commit myself to that because, I shouldn't. I want to.
You will have a small band.
So. Well, not just yet, but I will have.
Oh, okay.
I'll either have a small Ben or a very big tiff. And I think both of those are a little risky. So I'm just gonna like strap a GoPro to you, and that'll be fine.
Do you like on-site reporting? That'd be quite fun, wouldn't it?
Put a little speaker on you. You can just have like a little Google Meet on your chest. I'll give you an iPhone. You can just put it on you, and we could just live through you.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked, man! I'm so glad you had a good time. I'm very glad you did well on the 11s. That is cool. Like that is, I'm really psyched.
Sometimes I don't roll 1s on the channel, like on the channel.
That's the best. I think when we did one of the live streams and you were rolling really well, and people in the chat were like, "What the hell?"
It's possible.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's so good. That wicked. And like you say, Ben, we've got our Bonehead Bowl coming up in November the 4th, which will be. Well, I think we've nearly sold out. I think we've got about 4 or 5 tickets left, and that's just going to be an absolute carnage sesh of mixed teams, which I think is going to be really good to detox after the World Cup.
Oh yeah,
And then lead us into Beachhead next year, which will be cool. So, I'm excited for that. But no, that's wicked, mate. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on your little tourney weekend?
No, just thanks to everyone who was there. You know, it was really fun to talk to people. And thanks to the events team, Games Workshop. It was really run really smoothly. I'm sure you've had the feedback forms, but yeah, it was good to see you.
Is there anything more corporate than a feedback form?
Right.
No, wicked. Right. Well, with that, then we will probably wrap up for the show. But I'm going to put a little reminder out to join us next Saturday, by hook or by crook. Saturday the 5th, we will be playing Sevens draft games. Now, I have yet to paint mine, but I'll be using the power of Quick Pass to get mine painted up. So I'm not worried about that. That'll be fine. I printed it. I know you've been painting yours.
Yeah, working on the spots at the moment.
Oh yeah, for the extra reroll.
Good fun.
Trips is well on the way with his, and I'm intrigued to see how Milton's getting on as well. So yeah, do come and join us. We'll either be streaming one game on channel 1, one game on channel 2 at the same time, or if we can't quite corral everybody into one place, we may just be going down to one channel and rotating the games or something. But we'll let you know. But regardless, we'll be live next Saturday for Blood Bowl Sevens with the draft team, which I think will be really good fun. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with you all as well. But for now, BT, it's good to catch up, mate.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks for talking through my games.
Oh, it's so good. And everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.